Welcome to our next Q&A. Well, I guess it's not next. Welcome to our latest Q&A video. You jumped in last time.
I did? I don't remember that.
Okay. You good though?
Yeah.
Do we need to talk about it or you
No.
just... Okay. Welcome to our latest... Okay. Sorry. You ready? Just do it again.
Okay.
Welcome to our latest Q&A video.
There are so many new people here that we knew that we wanted to do another Q&A. It's been 6 months since our last Q&A when we were, 30,000 subscribers.
Yeah, we had 30,000 6 months ago, and now we have over 80,000.
Yeah, so there are so many new followers here, and we're so glad you're here. So thank you for joining, and we wanted to give you guys a Q&A. We asked you guys what you wanted to learn on Instagram, Facebook,
And YouTube.
and YouTube community, which I hope you guys like that because we enjoy the YouTube community as well.
My name is Emily.
My name's Amanda. Welcome to our channel, Gale Force Twins.
Before we get into the questions, let's take literally 60 seconds and just tell you about ourselves.
Let's see, where do we start? I'm gonna do this in 60 seconds.
Okay, go.
Ready? We grew up fishing and we love fishing. Got our first job on a fishing boat in college. Graduated college, stayed in the industry on fishing boats. Got our captain's licenses, started our own fishing business. We were charter fishing full time for a couple years. And then COVID happened and now we are full-time YouTube creators and we are constantly producing educational fishing and boat handling videos for all of you.
Every video educates, explains, and entertains. That's the goal for all of our videos. I think that was 60 seconds. Think that was 60 seconds?
It was probably right around there. So we received a lot of questions from you guys, and there was one specific question that we are going to hit first because a lot of you asked it and we were kind of surprised. The question was something along the lines of, what is the scariest moment you've had on the boat? Or what is the worst weather you've been in, right? It was a question kind of like that.
It was basically, what was the scariest experience that you've had to experience?
And we both have one.
Yes.
Like together though.
Yes, so
it's so easy.
Let's start this video with that story, shall we?
Now, this specific day happened last summer when the Mahi were around in the Florida Keys. Check the weather forecast. It was 5 knots of wind or less. A slick, beautiful, flat, calm day. There was no chance of thunderstorms. It was maybe a 5% chance of rain. It was one of those days. And we said, this is the perfect day. And what's funny is we actually did film a video of this day before the storm came.
Oh, yeah, we did.
We did. We filmed a video on, was that the one on how to keep a school Mahi with your boat?
It was, yes.
So we'll link that video for you if you want to see what the day looked like before the day turned.
Before we get too far into the story, you did leave out some information. You did say that there was no cloud in the sky, and there wasn't because we were fishing offshore in the Atlantic Ocean. But
I guess that's true. So we did look at the radar, and there was a very large storm in the Gulf of Mexico, but way up in the Gulf of Mexico, very far away from us. There wasn't supposed to be a drop of rain in the Atlantic Ocean, although we do need to realize that on this specific day, we were heading 35 miles offshore to fish for swordfish. And obviously the Mahi came up. So we are really far away. No cell service. There was no way to double check the weather. I mean, we were just out there.
We have a radar machine on our boat, but it doesn't work. So before you guys are like, check your radar. There was no radar.
Yes.
The radar was our eyeballs looking for any storms coming by.
So we were out there fishing and flat, calm, beautiful. And you just start to see this band, like this, a strip. It was a line of dark black clouds, but it's sunny everywhere else.
Mm-hmm. It was about 3 o'clock in the day at this point. We spent the whole day out there in a slick, like we said, and it starts to get a little rough, and the school of Mahi comes by. And we, like I said, we didn't have radar, so we couldn't tell that this massive storm was that storm that was coming our way. And we were like, oh, let's catch a few Mahis really quickly. That was the mistake, I'll be honest. We probably should have seen that storm and made a move. But at the same time, storm, it was between us and the land.
Yes.
So even if we decided it's time to go in, we would have had to go straight
I think
through
we
it.
were hoping that the storm would dissipate by the time it got to us, because that happens all the time in the summer. Down in the summer, it always rains in the afternoon in the Keys. So the fact that we saw the storm, but it was between us and land, and the school mahi came around, we were like, well, maybe the storm will dissipate by the time it gets to us. So we start catching these mahi, everything's going great. And like all of a sudden, the wind picked up.
I mean, I feel like
Within 60 seconds.
yes, like the wind starts coming, the air gets cold. I'm not even kidding. It felt like we were in a scary movie. Like it was like, wow.
It was just all of a sudden it went from sunshine and great weather to really, really cold and really windy. And that's when we said, okay, we need to go.
Yes.
So we pack everything up and we pulled in all of our gear and we start heading home.
Because the storm was traveling straight towards us, basically we were going straight into the seas. So we were going up an 8... Sorry, little dude. We were going up an 8-footer and straight down an 8-footer, and then up a 6-footer and straight down a 6-footer. The problem was that the seas were so rough that we couldn't get on plane. We couldn't. They weren't spaced out, so it was just like one after the other after the other. And our boat, it's old, guys. It's loud. When that thing bangs,
Oh,
it
it's
bangs.
scary. You get scared.
If you guys have seen our How to Drive a Boat in Rough Seas, that is literally, we took that advice upon ourselves. So instead of going straight into the seas, we ended up quartering the seas. So we were going at them on an angle. However, you can imagine going straight to land, even though it's a straight shot, it was not going to work. So we're going at an angle, and we were taking the long way home. However, it was more calm. It was easier to run the waves in the seas. And we got up to, when we finally got in shallow water, I think we literally were almost in Isla Mirada. So just for perspective, we left from Big Pine. So we go straight offshore at Big Pine. Then we had to go all the way back in at an angle all the way to Isla Mirada.
We were another hour from home once we got out of the storm, because it was, I mean, we had to take, which is something to think about, take the safest route to get out of the storm, not necessarily
To get home.
fastest route to get home. So we took the safest route out of the storm, which was a nice quartering the sea. Now it was very rough and still probably dangerous. That was a situation where I would say that we were both. We weren't unsure in our skills, but we didn't.
We were shaken.
We were shaken, and I didn't trust the boat. Our boat is a
Yes.
2005 Intrepid, original motors.
Motors are old.
Motors are old.
They're always breaking. They always have issues. And, you know, the thoughts start to creep into your
Yes.
head. What happens if I'm out here? And,
I think my
you know.
biggest fear was if we lost power on one of the motors.
Yeah.
Or because
Because it was just so rough, guys. Every time that boat banged, like, everything shakes. And, you know, it was just one of those moments that, wow, this could be really
Yes.
bad.
And then I remember we got into shallow water, and we just like stopped, and
And we hugged.
we hugged and we waited. I think we like sat down for like 10 minutes in shallow water and just
Took a breather.
took a breather, because that was one of maybe a handful of moments where we've been out of the boat and said, wow, that was really scary. But at the same time, looking at the weather, I would say there was really nothing we could have done to predict that was going to happen.
No. Sometimes there's just days like that. You guys all know the weatherman's not always right. So you can do your best and make good judgments, but at the same time, sometimes you just have to do what you got to do and get through it.
Yeah, and that is easily our scariest moment out on a boat. I think it's time to move on to the rest of our Q&A questions. So the other most popular Q&A question was, are you guys going to start chartering again? Because a lot of you guys know that we started before COVID, and for those of you that don't know that, you were asking if we're going to charter ever.
Yes. So the short answer is no. I know that some of you guys might be a little bit disappointed to hear that, because as much as we do love taking people out and we love putting people on fish, unfortunately, our schedules are jam-packed, and the direction that we're taking our business, we do not have the time to be chartering and maintaining a charter business.
Yes, and we tried. We tried
We did.
in late last summer, after COVID was starting to lighten up, or I mean the regulations were starting, whatever, you know. We tried to charter and do YouTube at the same time, and it was impossible. So
you couldn't do both. It was like one or the other. So it's funny that to me that everybody wants us to charter, but the reason why they want us to charter is because of these videos, and you can't do videos and charter at the same time. It's just not really an option. But we love what we're doing now, and we do appreciate all of your support. We do have, when we get emails of people that want to book charters, we do recommend people, so we can definitely direct you guys. And there's not to say that in the future that there won't be some form of a Gale Force charter.
maybe an event or a meet and greet
Or a Holy Ridge trip.
something like that. I think we always still try to do events and things to meet you guys, but doing the everyday charters, there literally is not enough hours in the day for it.
That kind of puts us on the topic of, well, how do I find out about these events, right? So The one thing I'm going to tell you is galeforcefishing.com/subscribe. That is our email subscription list, and you guys will get first notifications on events, gear restocks.
Yes, before social media finds out, our mailing list finds out.
You guys get priority. So subscribe to that mailing list if you guys want to be on the lookout for any of that stuff. Another really common question we got was a couple of variations of this. One was, what are your goals for Gale Force Twins? And where do you see yourself in 10 years? So, okay, the where do you see yourself in 10 years, that's like,
well, we're 25 now.
So we'll be
35. We'll be mid-30s, which this is crazy because we're going to turn 26 in April, and we're officially going to be, like, closer to 30 than we are to 20.
Wow.
This is crazy. But anyway, moving on. So where do you see yourself in 10 years? That's a tough question, but our goals is something that we have goals. We write them down, we put them on the fridge.
And they sit there
on our faces all the time. And we normally don't tell people about our goals just because, I don't know, we just don't. But we'll go ahead and tell you today. So what is, Emily, you go with one of the goals.
All right, so goal number 1 has always been, and I'm sure you guys would agree with this, is to get a new boat. We love our boat. It's what got us started, but this thing is old, and like we said, it's a lot to maintain an old boat. So goal number 1 is to get a brand new offshore center console fishing boat with a tower. I would say 33 feet. New motors, all 9 yards.
Yes,
that's goal number 1.
Goal number 1.
So 10 years from now, I hope I'm running that boat. There you go.
Yes. Goal number 2 is to also get an inshore freshwater boat. So that's another goal on our radar or on our list, is that we want to get an inshore boat that can double as a freshwater boat where we can go bass fishing, peacock bass fishing, clown knife fishing, take it up to Lake Okeechobee.
Yes, but we can also saltwater fish with it and go catch bonefish, permit, tarpon, all the flats, bridge fishing. So that's goal number 2.
What's the time frame on both those goals?
The time frame?
2 years? 2 years.
2 years.
2 years on both those goals.
Yes.
To have both those boats. So I'm telling you this so that hopefully we can come back to this video in 2 years and be like, wow, we did it! But that's why we usually don't put our goals out there, is because we put time frames on all of our goals. Like, well, what happens if we don't achieve them?
Yeah.
What's our next goal?
Our next goal?
1 million subscribers on YouTube.
Yes. 1 million subscribers on YouTube.
In the next 5 years.
Next 5 years.
I'm putting time frames on this.
Okay, time frames. The last goal you could say we have, and something that we've always shared as well, is not so much, we're not trying to be million subs on YouTube or 3 million on YouTube. Well, that's not the end all be all.
I want to caveat that and say that our goal is to reach as many of you as possible.
Right.
And inspire you guys to get outside, educate you guys to go out on your boat, give you the information to feel confident when you go fishing, to know how to handle rough seas. So our big goal is to really reach as many of you as we can. And that's why we put numbers on it, like say, oh my gosh, hopefully we can reach 1 million of you.
Right. So one way that we do that is by being on different platforms. YouTube is one. These same videos that you're watching on YouTube, if you guys prefer Facebook, we upload them to Facebook. And then there's Instagram and TikTok and all those other platforms, but there's one platform that we're not on yet.
Yes, and what platform is that?
The TV.
The TV. I think that is one of our goals that we actually have probably never told anybody except like immediate family.
Yes.
So I think we do have a goal to one day make it onto the big screen, which is actually kind of going outdated anyways. I feel like everybody's going towards the
YouTube.
Cell phone, iPad, YouTube, yes. But I think that's something else that we would really like to do one day. I feel like I just poured out my heart to all you guys and told you, like I'm telling you, we don't like to tell people our goals. So it's out there now.
The next question is, how long did it take you to learn everything that you know about the water? And I guess I will say, the first thing I want to say is, I don't know everything about the water yet that I want to know, and there is a heck of a lot more that we have to learn.
I would agree with that, but I would say that I wouldn't count the years being kids fishing and boating as towards your learning. That was just kind of more towards our getting into it, but I would say that we really started learning real captain charter boat business skills
in 2017.
2017, which was our last year of college, so
18, 19, 20.
So 4 years.
4 years.
We've been, but full-time.
Yes,
We've been doing this
full-time 4 years.
Full-time for 4 years, and it's taken up until, I think last year was year 3. It took 3 years of us doing this full-time to even feel comfortable starting to share the information that we have learned on the internet, because I think we were nervous of all the hate and the potential criticism that we would get. But thankfully, we haven't had a lot of it, and most of you guys really like the information we're giving, so it's actually encouraged us to keep going. And I think that as the year went on, we got more and more confident sharing you what we've learned.
The answer to the next question might come as a bit of a surprise, and that question was, what was your dream job when you were little? And a lot of you might be thinking to be captains, to be boat drivers, to be something on the water. However, this world that we're in right now was definitely not on our radar as kids. I guess
I'm trying to think what my dream job was when I was a kid. And to be honest, I think we were both the kind of kids, I don't want to speak for you, but I don't ever remember being a kid that was like, oh my gosh, this is what I want to be when I grow up. I mean, I'm sure when I was little, I said I wanted to be a vet.
Yes, that was definitely
on there, but that was probably the only thing.
I would say, you know what I will say,
Although
though,
we did do sea camp.
I will say that I did talk a lot about wanting to be a biologist. So as I'm talking out loud, it actually is interesting to look back and see that, you know, being on the ocean and the water has always been a part of us growing up, but it never was our thought process to be captains.
Yeah, I don't think I realized it until we're talking about it right now. But I think growing up, we never really had these big dream jobs. And then it just kind of came together. I don't think we ever had a dream job, even in college. I don't know what I'm doing with my life.
But I knew I liked science, so that's all we did.
Yeah. Next question that I actually really liked was, do you ever get tired of fishing? Do I ever get tired of fishing? I will say that yes, there's a certain time that I get tired of fishing, and that is usually in the winter when it's been blowing for 20 knots. It's been blowing 20 knots for 7 days straight, 2 weeks straight, and you're going out there and the fishing sucks.
Yes. I'll definitely say that it's like any job. You're going to have periods and times where, you know, it's a little tough to get up and get going.
Yeah.
But you keep doing it knowing that it will have a turnaround. So, for example, like Amanda was saying, the winters are always a little bit tough because it's rough seas more often. It's harder to get out there. You know, there's no mahi around. Mahi's a summer fish.
Or like I would say the last time we went fishing, one of our engines stopped running.
Yeah.
That was a bad day.
We're still down a boat.
So, like, days like that happen, and yes, I get tired of it because we were out there and it took us 3 hours to get home when it should have taken 20 minutes.
Right.
I'm exaggerating that, but it took
us over an hour, and it should have taken us less than an hour.
Yes, and that happens, and I think that's what's frustrating, is when the fishing isn't good, and the fishing wasn't good.
Yeah.
It was just one of those days.
But is it worth it?
Of course. You gotta think that every bad day you have on the water is one less bad day you're gonna have that year, and you're gonna have another good day soon.
The next question was, what was each of yours biggest fears? So I'm going to take that and say on the water.
I would say that I think most of you guys would think that I would say that my biggest fear is being lost at sea or something like that. But to be honest, it's not. For some reason, it's something I'm not afraid of. It's just, I think that...
It's a reality.
It's a reality, but since we're out there all the time, and I think the number of good days we've had compared to the number of bad days, we know how small the chances are that it's going to happen. And on top of it is that we are very over-prepared. We have a ditch bag video. We're big on safety, so... I wouldn't say I'm afraid of that. I don't know. What are you afraid of?
I think my biggest boating fear would not be, like Amanda said, being stranded at sea, but would be a motor blowing up and lighting on fire. That would be one. Where literally there's a fire and you have nowhere to go and you literally might have to abandon your ship. I think that would be my number one.
That's a fair fear.
Yeah. In our past Q&A videos, a lot of you guys always ask our favorite fish to catch. And let's link a past one so you guys gotta go watch one of those to find out. We've answered that question a lot. But this time we got someone that said, what's your bucket list fish that you haven't caught yet that you can't wait to catch?
Ooh.
I have a handful, but one big one for me is definitely halibut in Alaska.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like that one. I was actually gonna say like a black marlin in Australia.
Okay. That's a good one too.
That would probably be something along those lines. Just something, we've caught almost everything you can catch in South Florida. Yeah. So we've got to go
start traveling. We got to start traveling.
We have to start traveling.
That's another common question is, are you going to travel outside the U.S.?
Yes, we got that a lot too.
And 100% we would love to do that. It's just a matter of the right place at the right time and setting it up properly, but it's definitely always on our radars.
I like this next question is, how many times do you take your boat out a month? Or I guess the real question is, how much do you go fishing?
I would say 50% of our work days are on the water.
It's a dead even 50%.
It's pretty much, it takes us, for every one day that we film and fish, I would say it takes us sometimes 2 days to edit.
I would agree with that. And we've been trying to, for the most part, we've been practicing a whole week of filming and fishing and a whole week of editing and computer work, and it's been working pretty well.
Yes.
So just so you see the perspective is that fishing is literally half of what we do.
We get this one a lot, and it's, do you have any advice for starting a YouTube channel, specifically a fishing channel? But I think for the most part, just answering it in the form of YouTube will answer.
Yes, and I'll say that we do have plans to actually film an entire video on this topic,
yes.
But we'll give you a short answer today.
I think the number one thing I'm going to tell you is you have to do something that's true to yourself. If you try to maybe make your channel something a little bit outside of who you are, it will be hard to keep up with it. For example, when we first started looking into YouTube, we found that in the fishing world, there's a lot of wow factor fishing. I caught this fish on a cheeseburger. I caught this fish on a piece of a chicken. No hook, look what I caught. Like, insane stuff. Or world record this, world record that. And that's not really who we are, guys.
Yes, and I think we were worried in the beginning that we had to be these crazy personalities to do this. And so I guess the one thing is stick to who you are, be yourself, be confident in what you're doing, and tune out all the outside noise.
I would almost recommend not getting caught up in watching a bunch of videos. Definitely watch some for your own personal education, but don't get caught up in it, guys, because you're going to watch other people and start to think, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do this.
And the other thing I'll add is that you're going to be awkward in the beginning. We were definitely awkward on camera in the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
We used to refilm the same shot 5 times over. Now we normally do everything in one take. So just don't be hard on yourself either.
You just got to do it, got to commit to it, got to go for it, and do something that's who you are, and it reflects, and that will come across on camera. I really love this next question. I think it's perfect to end the video. Let's tell this little story.
Okay, got it.
The question is, was there a fishing trip, a specific trip or memory that got you hooked on fishing?
And I will add to that, is that this question ties into everybody else's questions asking, how did you get into it? How did you get started? So
in short, the answer is yes, there was a specific trip that got us into fishing. With the exception of dock fishing and lake fishing and just doing it here and there was one specific moment.
Well, I will tell you, just to set the scene for this specific moment, is that when we were kids, we used to watch other kids fish off the docks in the Keys, and we said, hey,
we used to watch River Monsters a lot.
We watched River Monsters, and we said, hey, Mom and Dad, I really want to go fishing, so they took us to the local store. We bought a really inexpensive combo rod and reel. Nobody knew what we were doing, and I remember going out there and trying my best, but knowing that I didn't know enough information to do this right. So that leads up to the point where 13th birthday rolls around, and we asked our mom, we said, I want to go deep sea fishing for my birthday.
But we specifically said, can you make sure that the captain teaches us how to fish and doesn't just have us fish? So she called around and she specified that. My daughters want to learn. And there was one captain in particular, Captain Robert Matthias from the Restless 2, Whale Harbor Marina. Such crazy memories there. I love that place. And he said 100% love to teach your daughters and tell them happy birthday. And I would say that trip,
that was the life-changing trip, because he taught us how to tie our knots. He taught us how to
bait our hooks. We were netting our own fish.
Doing everything by ourselves. This was no hook in hand. And I think by learning how to do it on our own,
we felt like we could take that and then go do it again.
And that was the point. And to this day, I mean, we continued to fish with him. I think every year we had a trip set up. We went lobstering for our first time with him.
Yes.
So we have had a lot of great memories, and I think that one specific trip, though, was the game changer. I think that's going to close our Q&A video for today. There were so many questions, we literally couldn't get to all of them, but if you do want to see another Q&A video, maybe we will do one in the future. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and make sure you follow Gale Force Twins on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok.